Good morning, one and all. Today we are going to start a new chapter, that is the Indian government. In the previous classes, you people already studied about a local government. In this chapter, we are going to detailedly discuss about the chapter, the concept, that is a central government and as well as a state government. So as you already know that India adopted the federal structure where the power is not centralized in one government. The power is decentralized in the name of state government and in the name of central government. So this structure is known as a federal government. So here, as you people know that central government for the whole country, it means for including all the union territories and all the states, we have one government that is known as a central government. So central government has also three organs like legislature, executive and judicial system. So here if people observe legislature in the name of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The executive body of the central government including president, prime minister along with the prime minister, the cabinet ministers. This is the executive body. When coming to the point of the judicial system of the central government, the higher authority for the whole country, that is Supreme Court. So as you know that in India, the central government is responsible for the whole country and it has its office in India's capital, that is New Delhi, isn't it? So we have to be detailedly discuss about the central government. To introduce a new laws to the country, to make an amendment for a constitution, we have a parliament system. Our parliament consists of two houses, the upper house and lower house. The upper house of the parliament is known as Rajya Sabha and lower house of the parliament is known as Lok Sabha, isn't it? So here for the central government who are going to make any laws for the country, that is a member of parliament, isn't it? A member of parliament where we have a 545 a member of parliament for the Lok Sabha members. They were directly elected by a common people, isn't it? They were directly elected by the common people. They were known as a member of parliament. And the party which get in a magic number, majority number in the 545, the party is recognized as a ruling party and they are going to be form the government in the central government. For example, in the 2019 Lok Sabha election, the BJP party emerged. The BJP party got an opportunity to form the government in central government. Lok Sabha, the lower house of the parliament, is also known as a people house. Why Lok Sabha is known as people house? Because of the reason the member of the Lok Sabha, it means a member of parliament, they were directly elected by the common people. ಲೋಕಸಭೆಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಜನತಾ ಸದನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಲೋಕಸಭಾ ಸದಸ್ಯರು ಅಂತ ಏನು ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಏನಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇವರು ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಜನರಿಂದ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಈ ಒಂದು ಲೋಕಸಭೆಯನ್ನು ಜನತಾ ಸದನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. And when coming to the point of the Rajya Sabha, it is known as Elders House. It is also known as Permanent House. ಅದರ ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭೆಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಹಿರಿಯರ ಸದನ, ಶಾಶ್ವತ ಸದನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Why Rajya Sabha is known as Elder House? Because of the reason in Rajya Sabha, actually they were not directly elected by the common people. The total number of the Rajya Sabha members in parliament in Rajya Sabha, that is a 250. In this 250, 238 members they were elected by the states. The rest of the 12 members they were directly elected by the president. It means those people who given a contribution to our country in the field of education, social service, it may be music, it may be films, it may be entertainment, sports, in these different fields. If anybody is going to give a more contribution to our country in the sense of president, if they are eligible, if they deserve for the Rajya Sabha member, they can be elected as a Rajya Sabha member. For example, Sachin Tendulkar also, once in the year of the 2014, he is also elected as a Rajya Sabha member. Why? He given a more contribution in the field of sports. So like this, so that's why this Rajya Sabha is recognized. It's known as a elders house. And moreover, if anybody is want to become a Rajya Sabha member, it should be above 30 years. When coming to the point of the Lok Sabha, 25 years. So that's why in Rajya Sabha, experienced person and moreover above the 30-year age is there. So that's why it is recognized as a ಎಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಹೌಸ್. ಇದನ್ನು ಹಿರಿಯರ ಸದನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಾಲಿಫಿಕೇಷನ್ನು 30 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಗಿಂತ ಮೇಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿರಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತು 12 ಜನ ಸದಸ್ಯರು ಏನು ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟಿಂದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಫೀಲ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸನ್ನು ತೊಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋನ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಎನ್ ಎಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಹೌಸ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭಾ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ನೋನ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ವೈ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋನ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಎನ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಹೌಸ್? ಇದನ್ನು ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಶಾಶ್ವತ ಸದನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಲೋಕಸಭಾ ಎವ್ರಿ 5 years it was dissolved. Because of the reason, every 5 years once there is an election for the Lok Sabha, isn't it? So that's why if the prime minister is going to be changed, if the prime minister is going to be decided, he can be dissolve the government. Even president also is going to felt the government is not work properly, the government is against our constitution, the president also hold the power to dissolve the Lok Sabha. So that's why it can be dissolved. But when coming to the point of the Rajya Sabha, so every 2 years once the new members is appointed for the Rajya Sabha. So this routine, this cycle was continue. So that's why it was not dissolved by anybody. So that's why it is known as a permanent house. ಲೋಕಸಭೆ ಪ್ರತಿ 5 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಗೆ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಲೋಕಸಭಾ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಮೂಲಕವಾಗಿ ಅದು ವಿಸರ್ಜನೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಥವಾ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರು, ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪತಿಗಳು, ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತನಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಲೋಕಸಭೆಯನ್ನು ವಿಸರ್ಜನೆ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭಾ ಅದು ವಿಸರ್ಜನೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಡಿಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಎವ್ರಿ 2 years, 2 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಗೊಮ್ಮೆ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭೆಗೆ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ಒಂದು ರುಟೀನ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇದು 5 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಇದು ಡಿಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. So that is the reason it is known as a permanent house. Then what is the function of this parliament? Then what is the function of this Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha? The function of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha to give a good administration to the people, to make a welfare of the common people. They introduce a new laws to the country. It means making of the laws. It is a very important function of Lok Sabha and as well as Rajya Sabha. So here the members of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are called as a member of parliament. Next, the very important concept, that is president. President, it means here for the namesake only, president was a head of the government. But when actual powers is consist in prime minister, the president is elected by the member of the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha and all the states legislative assemblies members. It means MLA, MLC and even Rajya Sabha members, Lok Sabha members. This all members is going to be vote for president election, and the person who get a highest vote, it means more vote, is elected as a president for our country. The president is the first citizen of our country, that all powers in the name of president, the central government is actually run. Whatever the new laws or whatever the new programs launched by the central government, that was started in the name of president. So that's why here the president is the head of the government of India, but for the namesake only. But all actual powers it consists in prime minister. ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪತಿಗಳು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇವರು ಸೊ ಹೇಗೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ನಾವು ವೋಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ವೋಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್. The representative of the people, one who already elected by the common people, it may be that is Lok Sabha member, Rajya Sabha member, MLA, it means member of legislative assemblies in all states. This all people are going to vote for president election and president is going to elect. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಈ ಚುನಾವಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮಿಂದ ಆಯ್ಕೆಯಾಗಿರುವಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಜನಪ್ರತಿನಿಧಿಗಳು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪತಿಯ ಚುನಾವಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮತವನ್ನು ಚಲಾವಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. And then moreover here, so these people, after once they're going to elect to the president, so president is the head of the government, but for the namesake only. ಅವರು ಹೆಸರಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕಾರ್ಯಾಂಗದ ಮುಖ್ಯಸ್ಥರಾಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಮುಖ್ಯಸ್ಥರಾಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆದರೆ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್, ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು, ಅವರು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಯನ್ನು ಅವರು ಹೊತ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ the sum of the powers is there for the president. The powers of the president is, once the Lok Sabha elections is over, then the party which get a magic number, the president is going to give an opportunity to the ruling party to form the government, and after that to choose a leader for the Lok Sabha leader, it means for the ruling party leader, and he is known as a prime minister. ಪ್ರಧಾನ ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳನ್ನು ಆ ಒಂದು ಪಕ್ಷದಿಂದ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಧಾನ ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳನ್ನು ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡುವಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಮತ್ತು ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಗವರ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್. ದಿಸ್ ಗವರ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಚೀಫ್ ಜಸ್ಟಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಚೀಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಮಿಷನರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್. ಅಟಾರ್ನಿ ಜನರಲ್, ಆಡಿಟ್ ಜನರಲ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಡೆಸಿಗ್ನೇಷನ್ಸ್ ವರ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ದ president. And moreover, the president is also a supreme commander for all the defense forces. It means army, navy, and as well as air force. This all three commands, this all three defense forces is under the control of a president, and he was the chief commander for this all forces. So like this, the very important role is there for the president. Next one, the prime minister. The prime minister and the council of ministers. As you know that the prime minister hold a more power because of the reason he is elected by the common people, isn't it? So the prime minister is the real head of the Indian government. He or she chooses her council of ministers to help him in the government. For example, financial minister, a transport minister, or it may be railway minister, it may be foreign affair minister, a home minister. Like this a portfolio ministers, it means cabinet ministers, a council ministers were elected by the prime minister, and prime minister was appointed by the president. It means the ruling party is going to be choose his leader, and he is known as prime minister. ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಪಕ್ಷ ಚುನಾವಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸಂಖ್ಯೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಥಾನಗಳನ್ನು ಗಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಆಡಳಿತ ಪಕ್ಷ, ರೂಲಿಂಗ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬರನ್ನ ನಾಯಕರನ್ನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರು ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟಿಂದ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಓತ್, ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ವಚನ ಬೋಧನೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟೇ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, isn't it? So prime minister is one of the very powerful designation, a powerful position in our country. So all the programs which was launched by our central government, that was under the control of prime minister. Then this is a information about the central government, and one of the very important thing, that is a state government. As you know that all the states has their own government. ಪ್ರತಿ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ತನ್ನದೇ ಆದ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So the system of the government in the state is similar to the central government. Each state government is responsible for making laws for the state and putting these laws into force. All the states have a lower house called as legislative assembly or Vidhana Sabha. Some states of India also have an upper house called as legislative council or Vidhana Parishad. So just you can make what we call a similarity between a central government and state government. ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗೌರ್ನಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಲೋಕಸಭೆ, ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭೆ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, isn't it? So ಲೋಕಸಭಾ is known as a lower house and Rajya Sabha is known as upper house. Same like that in the state government also we have two houses, that is lower house, that is known as Vidhana Sabha, and upper house, it is known as Vidhana Parishad. how the central government also introduce a laws to the central government. It means how the parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha introduce a laws to the central government. Like that, the Vidhana Sabha and Vidhana Parishad, they introduce a laws to the state government. But here one thing, all states doesn't have a upper house. It means a legislative council. Only some states. But when coming to the point of Karnataka have the both houses. It means two houses. A MLA, it means member of legislative assembly, and as well as MLC, member of legislative council. So, okay, fine. When coming to the point of governor, so as you know that president is the head of the central government. Like that, the governor is head of the state government, and this governor is appointed by president. The governor of a state, a particular state, is appointed directly by the president of India. The same person cannot be elected as a governor more than a one state. The governor, however, is the nominal head, and the real power lies in the hands of the chief minister and his council of ministers. Here, how when president is the only, for the namesake only, is the head of the central government. Like that, governor also is a namesake only, he is the head of state government, but actual powers is consist in the chief minister. ಗವರ್ನರ್ ಅಂತ ಏನು ಅಂತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ, ರಾಜ್ಯಪಾಲರು ಅಂತ ಏನು ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ವಜೂಭಾಯ್ ವಾಲಾ ದ ಗವರ್ನರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್, ಇಸಂಟ್ ಇಟ್, ಇವಾಗ ಇರೋಂಥ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟು. ಸೊ ಇವ್ರು ರಾಜ್ಯಪಾಲರನ್ನ ಯಾರು ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಗವರ್ನರ್ನ ಯಾರು ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಸೊ ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. And moreover, if anybody want to become a governor of any state, he or she should be above 35 years, and all the qualification is needed. What are the qualification is there for the member of parliament? ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇರಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅರ್ಹತೆಗಳು ಇವರಲ್ಲೂ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತು ಏಜ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ಎಬೌವ್ 35 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಕೂಡ ರಾಜ್ಯಪಾಲರಾಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೋರ್ ಓವರ್, ಸೊ ಇವರನ್ನು ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಯಾರು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಅವರೇ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇವರು ಕೂಡ ಹೇಗೆ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಇದೆ, ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಹೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಇದೇ ಥರ ಇವರು ಕೂಡ ಹೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಪವರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಚೀಫ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. The governor appoints the leader of the majority power in the majority party in the state government. So, and he is and the ruling party is going to elected as a leader, and the leader is known as a chief minister. ಸೊ ವಿಧಾನಸಭೆಗೆ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ನಡೆದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ರೂಲಿಂಗ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿನ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡುವಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಗವರ್ನರ್ಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ರೂಲಿಂಗ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬರನ್ನ ಲೀಡರ್ ಅಂತ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರನ್ನ ನಾವು ಚೀಫ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Isn't it? Chief minister is appointed by a governor. And here, as you know that Karnataka's chief minister right now, that is Yediyurappa ji, isn't it? But in your textbook there is a photo is available, the chief minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal. So how the prime minister is actually have a more power in the central government. Like that, in the state government, chief minister hold that all powers, and he is going to appoint the council of minister for the state. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ತಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳನ್ನು ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಜುಡಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಅವರ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ, we have a judicial system. Our judicial system is a beautiful judicial system compared to other countries because of the reason it is separated from the legislature and executive body. It is an independent and autonomous judicial system what we have. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನ್ಯಾಯಾಂಗ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಇದು ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ಮತ್ತು ನಿಷ್ಪಕ್ಷಪಾತ ನ್ಯಾಯಾಂಗ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ. ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್, ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಸಪರೇಟೆಡ್ to give a justice for everybody, especially with equal rights. So we have a judicial system that is what we call independent and autonomous judicial system. Just coming to the point of the central government, we have a Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the highest judicial body in our country, isn't it? It is located in the New Delhi. It comprises the Chief Justice of India and a number of judges. The total number of the judges should not be more than 25 in number. It protects the laws of the country and gives the final judgment in any legal cases. If anybody is going to violate the rules and regulations, if anybody is going to break our constitution, if anybody is going to be against our constitution, so this judicial system, it means Supreme Court is going to take the responsibility to give a justice for that, to give a judgment for that. ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್, ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಕಾನೂನು ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಮುರಿದಾಗ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾನೂನನ್ನು ಉಲ್ಲಂಘಿಸಿದಾಗ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆ ಕೊಡುವಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ನೋನ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ನೋನ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ವಾಚ್ ಡಾಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸಂವಿಧಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುವಂಥ ಮೂಲಭೂತ ಹಕ್ಕುಗಳನ್ನು ರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಮಾಡುವಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಿ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಹೆಡ್ ಕ್ವಾರ್ಟರ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೊಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ನ್ಯೂ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಇರೋದು ಡೆಲ್ಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ನ್ಯೂ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇದು ವೆನ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನ್ ಎ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್, ಬಟ್ ಹೈ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನ್ ಎ ಹೈ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್. ರಾಜ್ಯ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯಾಯಾಂಗ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆನ ನಾವು ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. The High Court is the highest judicial body in the state. Each state has a High Court. However, sometimes one High Court has two more states and union territories under the jurisdiction. At present, there are 21 High Courts in India. Each High Court has a Chief Justice and a number of other judges. All three levels of the government work together for the welfare of the people of India. So here, High Court, every state, so in the Indian constitution there is a right and there is an opportunity. Every state can has their own high court. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ರಾಜ್ಯಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ತನ್ನದೇ ಆದಂಥ ಉಚ್ಚ ನ್ಯಾಯಾಲಯವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದುವಂಥ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ, ಸಂವಿಧಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ, ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಹೈ ಕೋರ್ಟ್. For the two or more states and union territories we have a single high court. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 2 ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಿಗೆ ಅಥವಾ 3 ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಿಗೆ ಸೇರಿದಂತೆ ಕೇಂದ್ರಾಡಳಿತ ಪ್ರದೇಶಗಳಿಗೆ ಸೇರಿದಂತೆ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಒಂದೇ ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರುವಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಯನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗಮನಿಸ್ಬೋದು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೋರೋವರ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ 25 ಹೈ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಇವತ್ತು 25, ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ 21 ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ 25 high courts we have in our country, in all the states. Okay, fine. This is all about a Supreme Court and as well as the concept of High Court. So if you have any doubts, you can ask the question with the group itself, through the group itself, and individually also you can ask the question. Thank you.